Oh, hello, hello. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever on the day in the world. Welcome back to Social Media Review. It's not VOS. And thank you for listening and calling in as usual. And I hope today will be no different. This is Mohammed Shillon coming to you from the US, the state of North Carolina. As usual, me and Ms. Fadima Savage can do the show, but she may not be on board today. It's highly likely she's not going to be on board. So, because she's not feeling well. So we hope it will feel better. But that said, I'll be doing the show all by myself. So please, let we try for make it as friendly and as informative as we normally do. Okay? So, of course, the numbers for call, if you get questions, then they on the screen. Before I use for announce them, but I don't think say it's necessary to announce the numbers because the numbers then they vividly from UK, the numbers for UK, numbers for Australia, the WhatsApp number, the toll-free number, they prominently featured on the screen. So please take a look at it and use the appropriate number where you think it will give you access to we. So we welcome on all today and hope the discourse or the discussion or the exchanges could be just as nice, friendly, cordial, and as I say earlier, informative. And again, I name Mohammed Shillon, coming to you as the sole host for National VOS National Review. Now, they bring to us today a few topics. One will be the main topic, as a matter of fact, will be something about the upcoming election. So I would like for ask the control room for just play a short, brief, introductory information on the next presidential election, which will take place 2023. But we do have some questions we want to ask the public, and then we'll get a reaction or response from the public as to what the answer could be or may be. So I will ask the control room for just play them, then I will take over again.
Sierra Leone goes to presidential polls on the 24th of June 2023, says National Electoral Commission. Published by the Sierra Leone Telegraph. Sierra Leone Telegraph, the 15th of March 2022. In just over 15 months' time, the people of Sierra Leone will go to the polls to elect a new president or renew President Bio's mandate to serve a second and final term in office. Photo above. Mohamed Kana, NEC Chief Electoral Commissioner. The country's National Electoral Commission, NEC, says it will start registering eligible Sierra Leoneans from the 3rd of September 2022 to the 4th of October 2022 in preparation for presidential, parliamentary, local councils and village head elections taking place on the 24th of June next year. Paramount Chiefs elections for Parliament are expected to take place on the 20th of May 2023. This news comes after the opposition last week accused the ruling SLPP party and the president of trying to violate the Constitution by moving the elections to 2024, using the COVID-19 pandemic as an excuse. But these accusations have been denied by the NEC Chief Electoral Commissioner, Mohamed Kana, who said that the election scheduled for June 2023 will not be postponed. Last month, leaders of 15 opposition parties started formal talks to explore the importance of establishing a collective effort aimed at unseating the ruling SLPP, whom they say have wasted 4 years in office as the economy continues to slide backwards and cost of living worsened. The Consortium of Opposition Political Parties, COP, which brings together almost all of the opposition parties together, is currently considering fielding one presidential candidate to contest against President Bio next year. But this strategy is not going to be easy, as there are at least three seriously competing candidates within the COP that are aspiring to become president, including the main opposition APC's 2018 presidential candidate, Dr. Samura Kamara, who lost narrowly to Julius Maada Bio in 2018.
All right. Okay, well, there I read a brief commentary. One or two questions that we'll get for ask. If the election is going to take place in June of next year, the question becomes, what in the Constitution say, and when should elections, presidential elections in particular, when it's supposed to take place? According to waiting me know, it will be March, whenever the elections become due for be March, not in June, because even because of we seasons, we weather season them. March is rain season, and rain season it will definitely affect the number of people who go vote, since people ain't always get for to happen a line, most likely outside. And so when we do them in rain season, it's obvious, and I think that will affect everybody. That your APC no more. That your APC no more. We go talk about. So now June. Hold a second. June is the rainy season. So when we understand it, and we move the thing to March. So I may be wrong. I mean, then we move on to June. Sorry about that. Now June understands it, and move on to from March to June, and June for be rain season. Now I may be wrong. I stand corrected, but this is my understanding. If I'm wrong, please call in and suggest the correction. And I think then say the Constitution called for that. So the question is, will that be a wise use of the time if we move the election from March, or from rain season, and from dry season to rain season, or should we be consistent, just like in America, where we elections, with general elections, presidential election, in November of whatever year the presidential election falls, because we know say that's a particular season of the year. So Sierra Leone, I think the Constitution get a specific period where we for go out and we for vote. So if we decide for put the election during the rain season, it seems like it will affect both parties them, or all the parties them, the two major parties them and the other party them, because most of the people who go vote, most of them, go be ordinary, purely poor people them, we're not go able to afford for to happen on the rain, soak, and besides, it will just be practically impossible. So we'll go look for people and call, and the lines will be open a little early today. So please, when I get in touch, and we'll see how I feel about the elections for next year. If for be here, for then for all the same term, where is supposed to be, where not during the dry season, or then for all and for move on to March, to June, when the rain would not begin come. So please call in and tell we what you want to feel. Now, because me think say we for now for be one section of the Constitution we will for hold very dearly. We will not for change it no matter what. Particularly in that way they get reasons say because the COVID or no COVID. Well, as long as we not get any pandemic, we for stop people for even if it be the pandemic time we're supposed to go vote. Well, we for put a mask on, we for do everything it takes, because anything the Constitution demand, we get for do as the Constitution say. So we not what constitution does say something, we're not for the change just because of one thing or another. It reminds me of where them the talk say where the civil war, where we get a war, because people them they may get for suspend certain things. So President Kaba in time was affected, therefore for extend the time for more. We cannot continue for play them kind of a thing. And if something happened during a certain presidency, it's just unfortunate. We main concern for be for stick with what in the constitution say, what in the law say. Unless we begin for follow then small law there, we go always, because you start small, then it begins stretch and begins stretch, then before you know it, we'd all go into something that become big. So what we for begin for land, now for land would begin for follow the law small. Breaking the law small, eventually go turn to big thing where they affect the country, and it will make it difficult for government itself for govern. So now that will for always look forward to. When a government kind of power, try for see how for combat lawlessness, or how for make sure say, because which you would receive and government of not only of late, but throughout the entire independence. Now, how the system, how the law not for work, how for bend the law, it's a good thing. You within a power, it will give you good advantage, but to help the country, because at the end of the day, not only when we establish order and follow the rules, now we go be able for make progress. So we get for work towards that kind of a system there. So the question again is the period when they set for the next election, what will fall during the rain season, is that a fair way for conduct election, and is that with the intention of one party benefiting? May not see in that way, because I think all the parties then supporters them fall under the same condition. They go affect, if turnout low, you never know who that go win. Sometimes somebody with very less number go win the election with much less number than the previous government or the previous administration win. So it's always in the best interest of the country for let more people vote, for let we embark on policy, we go make more people then get access. In fact, some people in the suggest say it will make sense for give public holiday when general election like presidential election they come. They help the country way we look for ways how less people and for vote. Now we are really trying. So far, I think the violence is getting less and less in presidential elections in Australia. So we for try for work more at that. I've listened to an audio recently where another named the political party operative, but it threatened violence, and I don't think therefore allowed that, because communicating the threat in and of itself, that should be a violation of the law, because a political party operative, not for to go around threatening people or threatening the nation for say, what you going to do with you, what you going to pass with you if one party win or another party no win. Not a political party, then you responsibilities around it. Now, I make it good for let the government work for everybody, and the government, as well as the opposition, this is one area they can agree on, for simply say, look, violence is something we all condemn, particularly political violence, because it benefits no one. And the real victims them of political violence usually are poor people, and sometimes wealthy people too, whose properties are damaged. But the real victims, the mass sufferers them of political violence, now the youth they will descend for go commit crimes. Then after they do all the thing, when the dust settles down, they are still unemployed. Then therefore make their living for 4 or more 5 years for to go sit on a party office, people and they give them handout. We'll therefore teach them young men how them for learn skills, so they can able to feed themselves, they can able to feed them, picking them, so they can get married, so they can become productive citizens. So the one that would try for going to government for just rule, not to for serve and not to for improve people in life, I think them for think twice, because we are not doing ourselves a favor when we misuse young people way because of economic reason, then they go into violence. So one way for avert violence is for the government to make it clear. And if the government thinks they move in the date is a necessity, well, address the issue. If people are begin raise the issue now, let them understand, say, people then get common sense. If you give them sound reasons, then go most likely agree with you. If you say, well, we move the date for this kind of reason. But if the Constitution say it has to be on a certain date, they cannot change the date, regardless of what will happen. As long as people are up and about and we're all there alive, the election date should not be changed under any circumstance, So, but anyone will get a contra review, you're quite welcome. Please call and make your own contribution, make your own suggestion, or raise your objection. So now, the main topic that I ended today we want to deal with in readiness or in preparation for the elections for take place next year, the presidential election and parliamentary election and all of that. Okay, that said, let us move into the another topic. There I will come back to national topic, because we always do agree, say we want to deal with the Russia-Ukraine war. We, when are Africans, particularly Africans within Africa, we always take the position that, I hear some people say, not to a war, now which man war. But if we realize no which man war not take place ever, we the Africans not get drawn into. You remember when people in Kini talk about Tangi's time, a lot of people in Australia will go fetch na bomber, where they recruit. Some people will even die there. Then this now be which people in war, this now be the Second World War. Not to be we on war per se in Africa, but then they need we for go participate, and some of the people indeed participate, and some of the people and they would die there. Well, now it's even worse, because what they go on is that then two countries here and they produce certain things, because already we see where Russia they produce a lot of gas, fuel. So that get Russia a part of the OPEC, the group of petroleum states, then where they control oil prices. So Russia also, now what did happen, because they boycott them, so it lead to a drop in the quantity of gasoline or oil when they produce, when they refine, for where we end up getting petrol and engine in there. So what did happen now is, by Russia being sanctioned, it drive up the oil price, because the other countries like Saudi Arabia, Nigeria, the one where they're all now OPEC members, they are not producing more for fill up the difference where Russia be the produce, where America and the European countries and say then they try for boycott. So what did that do? The refineries then decide for raise prices, where we not refine our engine and they back home. Now the refined product they get now, like Sierra Leone and most of the West African countries, the African countries in general. So what did happen? So now you see what we get is acute, this serious shortage of petrol in Sierra Leone. Petrol so short that then say the petrol station, then even when they get you and they not sell them because then they try to make the most. So this just show you say this now one way where the war they affect we, you know, way we think say not a we war. The other way where they affect we economically, because then transportation wise, we're not able to move from point A to point B. And we're able to move from place to place, you know, it hard for go buy food, it hard for go buy uh, anything, or for transport for come on one place for go to doctor for this, but you need transportation no matter what, you know. So that's one thing. The other thing we have to realize, say, Russia and Ukraine, then two countries there, then they produce one third of the world's wheat, and from wheat would they make bread, you know, and many other things we would consume in Africa, we would consume all around the world. So when in two countries there, then they're at war, or particularly like Ukraine, where not almost the highest wheat producer, they're not able for farm, ask them for be able for farm, and if they farm, most of the infrastructure is being affected now that they're not able to transport them abroad like they're supposed to. So that too is causing some serious shortage of wheat. Then when you get a shortage there of wheat, it will raise prices because you will get less and less flour and all that in there. So I did say this because I want to let people realize the war, with a hope that the war now continue, with a hope that the people in way they try to bring about peace, try their best to bring about peace, because it affects we all. The way the economy, the world economy they now, nothing they happen. Now any part of the world where they affect other parts of the world. You know, even when we get Ebola, you see how much America try their best for letting not go beyond we border, because they may afraid say if it come across now America, that would be a disaster for them. But that's the way the world is now. So anybody in problem, any country in problem, any country in problem, every country in problem. So for realize that. So we would like for let people know that. For say this Ukraine-Russia war, we hope it will end soon, and the sooner the better. So that said, let me move to another topic. Then at the rise of crime, in Sierra Leone, we talk about the rise of crime, but in Sierra Leone, because things are not getting better. But before I get to that, we have a caller on the line where I go one for taking call, then I will move back or go hold off on any other call. I will move back to finishing what I was saying, then we'll take some more calls. So let me go to this particular caller. Hello, caller. What's your name and who say you call from?
Yes, yes, Mr. Shino, this is Abdul from Maryland.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Abdul, welcome.
I want to give a submission on this topic. I don't know if you can pull up the Constitution, the Constitution on Article 43, because I talk specifically about the holding of presidential elections, because sometimes our Constitution is full of ambiguities. Waiting one article go talk, the article or the article after can talk otherwise. Since you know legal luminary, if you can pull up the Constitution on Article 43, and I talk specifically where they talk about the holding of presidential election, where they say where the office of president is to become vacant by a fluxion of time, and the president continues in office after the beginning of the period of 4 months, ending with the date. When this term of office will expire by a fluxion of time during the first 3 months of that period, in any other case, during the period of 3 months, beginning with the date when the office of the president becomes vacant. I don't know what you understand by that within the talk, because it seems as if Parliament left they don't agree say that effluxion of time they go be 3 months after. If it be 3 months after the presidential term ends, I think it is within the remit of the 1991 Constitution. I don't know what will be your reaction to that. I just tell
Thank you for calling. Now, I don't pull them up like what you suggest. The difficulty where I will get here, because I will be a little bit distracted trying to look at it on one screen and trying to talk about it on another screen. Off the top of my head, I cannot address the issue without taking a read of it. But so, as far as I know, I don't even want to take a swipe at it without having read it. And like I say, it will be difficult for me for reader. I'm looking at it, this 1991 Constitution. But since I am doing this broadcast, and if I get a co-host, while that co-host did the talk, I could have taken a quick look at it for see exactly. Because the section where the caller, they mentioned, it talk in terms of the section where the caller, they mentioned, it talk in terms of the 3 month reference, whether if they move, even if they hold election 3 months later, whether that is permitted by the Constitution. I am not going to be able to say yes or no without the benefit of having read it. All I can say is constitutionally, it would seem to me that it should be stated in no uncertain time that it must be held on a particular date or period of time. So I cannot give you an answer, in all honesty, on this particular one. I'm sorry. Okay? But you can call back if you get any other suggestion or any other proposal. Let me go to another caller. Hello, caller. What's your name? Who's that you call from?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, this is a regular caller Fode from the world.
Yeah, Mr. Fode. Thanks for calling.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. You touched a good point, actually. That's a way you mentioned about the rainy. We all know the situation today in the country. You know, this oil crisis, and the country, we not just a consumer, not what would produce. You know, like, to be honest with everybody, for the past put up no, I mean, the one for week election. That I assure you. Yeah. And two, I get concerned about the station too. The station don't get so many programs then way like especially hosting the current government or can lie to the people then we not called for. Not so like they suggest for now no program. None of we not the owner, but then people are not really good for the country. Lying to people always, because giving them the platform when they create a room for can lie to people, especially we not in at the country is go to waiting they go to, and with people them back home waiting at the up because some man don't know. Waiting and visit them people there they talk they tell them. Now the thing they happen. You see, at time I can feel so disappointed. Based on them lie the way they lie publicly, they get people in back where they can't support them. I'll call back when I get chance to others.
Okay. Well, thanks for calling. Well, this is the problem what we get. Now we always for land for or for try with best. The trouble we get in Australia, maybe in a lot of African countries, maybe even all over the world, is that we're not able to see past the wrongs of people them way we lack. So some people and they see, and we turn out a lot of we the struggle for be Sierra Leoneans first, and then whatever party supporter or tribe second. We all want the best for the country, but it all depends on who that then a power. So if me on post where or the party where elect, just elect no more, not to say where the party where are convinced they could do better. But the party where elect, if not then a power, they're not doing nothing that they do wrong. Everything is fine. The only time we see something wrong with the system, now that party they were elect, not in a power again. Then the other one will come, will be there on the outside where they criticize. All of a sudden, young people feel say, now the right party this. The other thing we have to be careful with, because we don't see that they happen many times. Even here with me there. Whenever there is a change of political party, I know you're very well educated, book educated person them, where they say, when are we on turn this for it? Well, as soon as somebody make that statement there, say that they don't turn this for it tells you, say, politics to them, not to for improve lives, not to for improve country condition, not to for make things better for everybody else, then the kind of politics for their self your benefit. That's all it is. And it's true. Now, the quickest way that for make money and enrich yourself without struggling too hard, if you are not interested in improving people in lives, if you're interested in just meet people and the way them be there, then left them the way them be there. And when I hear a politician the brag, say, Sierra Leonean politician the brag say, he spend up to $300,000 or $200,000 of dollars of your money on one political party, it makes you wonder. That is a lot of money, besides how the person get them. But even if you get it, no matter how you get it, $200,000 is a lot of money for just spent by a political party in exchange for nothing. Now Africa. So that makes you begin for wonder. And me think, say, when somebody spend that kind of money, they are not thinking anything for brag about. Unless you get a record of, unless you're such a rich man, you get a record of making that kind of a contribution this day, without being interested in politics. Now, if you make that kind of contribution day, then you know they're in politics, you get credibility. People then go say, yeah, this is not real dedication to country. They put your wealth on the line for make things better. A good example is like you get this billionaire in Sudan. I think Mo Ibrahim, I think that's his name. We say he can give $5 million. In fact, I think na price we set aside from a foundation to any African government or leader who go run in government for one time in office and not corrupt. You know, $5 million of your money, say any African leader, so he's not looking forward to getting benefits. So somebody around there you will see say he's sincere because he want things were good for we all. But when a politician, Sierra say, I spent $200,000 of dollars, US dollars of me money, and openly say, I don't get all kind of position. The only one I ever been a president. Well, by way of standard, we might say that's good politics. But me not think so, and I think we have to be careful and be leery and be suspicious of them kind of a politicians in there. Now the kind of politicians then now when they will sell the future of a great grandpicking that we're not born yet, because we need to think about that. Would I say this before? For say when we forefathers then sell with people in way today that we call Black Americans in slavery, they not be the think about the future. They not be the think of picking them. We're not gonna no regard for future. Now them former people in there will go give an excuse for say, okay, they not be they talk English, they not be they talk French, they not be educate. So they want the which man wash them face. We can say that we can make excuse for them, even though there is no real justification for what happened in terms of slavery. But now the problem is we say we don't learn all this book. Some of we don't live abroad in the white man country for a long time. And the white man don't help for education, so we will come back and help with people them. Because I remember when I first came to this country, where people can ask me, say, you go college? I say, yeah. So when you're done, you go back? Well, you get for say yes. The moment you say no, you need to go back. Then they look, say you're a very selfish African, we just can't because the white man they try for educate you for go back for impart knowledge and uplift for people and skills and teach with skills. So we will go and apply and teach with people in the same skills for improve people in life. But we not do that. A lot of we can tell people and say, well, I can't go back. Then can always look at we say we are the most selfish set of people. How you go kind of America? How you go kind of Canada? How you go kind of Europe? Then you say, you know, and go back. And for help you poor people. Then you get for begin for explain to them why, how you really want to go back, but how the situation at home knows that welcoming for you for come back, how opportunities are dwindling, how corruption was getting worse, how there was no possibility of you going home, doing things without having to be dishonest. So sometimes if you get the time for address the issue, people were able to listen and understand. Because for just telling them, say, I need to go back to Africa, then just figure, say, you're not the most selfish person. So now, when we come from politics, we don't look at politics, we'll see that today. Some man, the brag say, and spend almost $250,000. I mean, let's begin to learn how to appreciate the future. And let us begin to understand, say, unless we become selfless, instead of being selfish, and become concerned about everybody else, things can only get worse, not better. Let me stop here. Let me answer a call, another call, and then I will continue. Hello, caller. What's your name? Who's I to call from?
Yeah, Mina Abdul again.
Oh, okay. Mr. Abdul, welcome back.
Yes. Yeah, I just want continue with you. I just
about the Constitution, about section Article 43. Okay, go ahead.
I think say the government gets then within the limits of the Constitution, the 1991 Constitution, according to when election for the because if you clearly remember, in 2007, the election we hold them in September. In 2012, we hold the election in November. By right, the election, the issue because unless immediately within that time, then 2000 from Holland in 2008 early prior to before the date. So because the president get the right for short circuit in time. If you want Holland 4 years, 6 months into in time, one whole election, you get a right. So I feel to say then they within it is the only concern like you earlier mentioned at the rainy season because it's very very unpredictable that day, especially when later June, not so early June. If in early June, perhaps you will say, okay, yes, the rainy season not go it. But late June, we can always expect big rain. But me not know waiting at the unforeseen preparation where neck then will get if in the event heavy rain come down, if then go allow the voting process to continue the following day. Then another thing where you mentioned where 100% today with you now, the contributors some of the submissions where some of them can give you they really see say now through the lens of a political party or region or tribe. Because when I get it right for both sides, and that's always been making call, I can always try for the reminder that say when I get for both sides, your side, my side, and the truth. Let we agree on let we not be clouded by emotions. You see, because most of the time the discussions we are always being clouded by we allow emotions the cloud we reasoning power. When that's not for me. Let me look at issues there because if all interest now for making Salone better and let the country develop, let me look at issues them dispassionately without the lens of any political party. Because if this current government then they in power, they make social achievement in social achievement, we go commend them for that. When all a party come to power, they can similar something else way about development. So this achievement put the country in a better light. When that's what they see, but it seems as if you get most of the calls with the area. It is always skewed towards a political party, or it's skewed towards a region, or it's skewed towards a tribe. That this part where they call, if you're not where they, as soon as you hear where the person they talk, you don't ascribe and say that because of this region they come out. So therefore, a social tribe. Therefore, in contribution, we always be skewed to that tribe or that party. No, we don't want to look at that really. We always look and say we all will aim for let's say alone. Then we come from that bottom left in the human development index. I look at the UNDP, the human development index last week. In the area of the homeless country, we have the 10 last country them. Under UNDP, under development, now we need 10 last. Under literacy rate, Sierra Leone, we get the first university in sub-Saharan Africa, and 43% literacy rate to get. So you can imagine now the only country that will beat the Mano River Union, Guinea. Sometimes because they don't get statistics. But like they are beating as far as literacy concerned, Cote d'Ivoire beat me. So you see, so now anything and so anything else one person can do, we will push forward the country in a better light. We should commend that person. Now, if you not do something again, we will say this, they fall short of them here. We criticize them. We take a swipe at the person, but we criticize them objectively because our criticism is geared towards propelling the person, helping the person to let him double his effort where he don't fall short. So that's what I'm call for. Thank you.
Thank you. It's always welcoming for people and for call and try for enlighten week, just like how you suggest this Article 43 of the Constitution. So the significance of that or the dictate of that section with respect to the presidential election. Listening to you and based upon what I can recall, and then you make a comment earlier that the Constitution will seem, the Constitution itself, certain sections seem to contradict other sections. Well, these are some of the terrible things about a Constitution way not well thought out. We get a Constitution where we try for draw, not in the, because I've always said to people, the Little Women Noble Constitution is a sketch, it's a skeleton, it's a now the roadmap or the plan for like a house. But that plan they you get for put, when you look at the plan, you get for no side for put certain things, windows, doors, this, that, for make it a house, livable house. And the same thing with the Constitution. The Constitution express certain desire. And Constitution mostly now the aspiration of the people, and then restrictions on the power of government. Restricting government, which they can do, which they're not able to do, or they're not supposed to do. Now for control government in power, for curb government in power. So what we don't do, we get to Constitution, we're not drawn by constitutional experts them. Because ordinarily, it's not proper for draw a constitution where elections not definitively state what time of the year constitution to take election to take place November, election to take place December, election to take place June, because the presidential election, just as a gentleman read, they say where the office of president is to become vacant, so, and the president continues in office after the beginning of the period of 4 months, ending with the date. Enough for even be that way. Like the United States, all that section where this constitution says so should not even occur. We're going to forget specific dates. We know say the American president they take over, the power they change hands January 20th. We usually get specific dates them. We get general election. We get after the general election, whoever wins, when they go assume office. So we get pattern, or we can look for avoid all them variations there. I read the Constitution, I make a pause for a minute. Then they talk about during the first 3 months of in any other case during the period of 3 months, beginning with the date when the office president becomes vacant. While the office of president, if we are serious, it should never be vacant. If you notice at the United States, there is never a vacancy of the office of the president. As the day where one president, they go, the same day another president, they assume power. We shouldn't. So for look at that situation there, and try for draw we on for match or fit the situation. So even when we talk about this gap or period or flex period of 3 months, why do we have it? Why not just get specific dates? When you are swaying a new president, that will be the day the other president in your term officially ends. It will make life easy for the rest of we, So let me switch a little bit. Let me answer a call. I'll be back. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you call from?
Yes. Good evening, King. Mr. Salone. Well,
Yes, sir.
This now for the Musafa from Leicester again. I called last week. Well,
Okay.
first of all, I would like to tell you plenty thank you because of the time we did vote for come always sit down on TV because for a long time I don't see you. That would have been a devotion because some of we listen, but we not get that time for can't sit down the talk. Thank you very much for the service. But
Thank you.
there's last week I want to bring you back. Sorry for that. Because you'll be making, I want to talk about Oklahoma, but then they cut me off time. This analogy where they make about, say, make them leave the other party where say their record day, well, make them not come again because we know their record. This is the problem is small because why? Sierra Leone, we the employ. And the employment will employ the president will pay a very good salary. A highly paid job. If you run business, you want the best. So you go to try for employee manager until you find the manager where they make the business go before. Now so Tanzania then try so they can't get money. Because let's say they employ. So if you can't say, oh, you come out of that house, we will employ somebody way you know better. So for instance, you know the employee again. No. These people when they go employ okay, you employ somebody way better. Because where they see president and Salone, like the one who gets right now, now they running policies. Anybody who did then I'm not getting mind talk. They just they do for their jobs. But maybe if that person they come as be president, maybe it will be better. But we have to keep trying. That is trouble because if we say we're going to try again, that means let the business collapse. So this thing I ain't force I want to touch on. I mean, make this analogy. I get problem with that, Mr. Shilon. I get problem with that because we have to keep changing. If you can't let them, because that's why you teach them lesson. Say why are they under so for the deliver otherwise in the public commodity. That's so now that I want to talk about them. Secondly, what they talk about? This constitution what they talk about. Because they don't talk over and over. See, now one party constitution will get now just a diversion, a small diversion with BD. Now imagine they take the power and put it to the president for they do all kinds of things. Even me, when they talk about this election, when they say now June, the first thing I think of now rain. But that president don't think about that. All they think about but only now how did they in power for 3 months more. Now he care about. And as Kuruma says, when the whole election at the height of the rainy season. I mean, the election for Tijanka, sorry, the 2007. Now the height of the rainy season in the Holland. So they don't care because that thing about Tijanka run that 3 months or that small month, you know, now make them. So they not they care. Say, oh, people they vote, they want, they not vote. Maybe it's a good thing for them to not vote. So I don't want to make with it. As long as now when them politics, they say white people. All what they criticize in the APC not be one thing. Then say they need to take anything in this. Because they want to remain powerful. They are not listening. Or if they listen, they say they don't take them. They just do what they want. So I mean, we keep therefore they keep for the talk, but I don't think they therefore make an impact. Because as long as they don't get the power the way they need, they continue to do the same thing. Well, that's all here for now. We'll come back later. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for calling, and I appreciate your passion about it. And this is what you would try for encourage. Let people then call in and express their views, and so you can call back. I agree with you to a point, but until you know the way things go, then say reasonable people could differ. So you and I may differ on the approach as to how to oust one party and replace them with another party. Merely look at the whole thing in the general context of things, in the sense that we don't get SLPP for rule. A day on record. We don't get APC for rule. A day on record. Each one of them party there, and I go try for talk short because we'll get a lot of callers. So I go there. But each one of them party here, then we don't say they not do much for the country. And if I go give some examples, then but I go hold off to that until I take some of them calls there. So what you me to try for say, yeah, you own solution. You say if people are not satisfied with people, just keep bringing the same old, same old. My argument, I've said, or I say, APC and SLPP, now the same coin, then they are two sides of the same coin. No matter outside the coin flip, the value are the same. We don't see what you're incapable of doing. I am just simply encouraging, let us not so pessimistic or so despondent as to think, say, there is no future for the country if not to APC or SLPP. There are smart people. I don't want to be an advocate for any political party, but NGC get a lot of potential. The fact that NGC not do well in the last election not mean anything to me because it was a brand new party. Now then duty, if they believe in what they preach and then think say there will be a better government to APC and SLPP, for come out and tell the people them. When me listen to Dr. Yom Kala in video we play last week, he touched on all the major issues and all the problems of the country. And we get away the credibility of potential leaders. But all I'm encouraging here, let will not be limit to yourself to say if not to APC for BSFP. Once you make them two-party and think that way, it will always be that way. Now we for strive for not for make them comfortable by saying, okay, we'll not try you, we'll not try you. Let's supporting the position, we will keep trying politicians them of other parties until we get a Mugufili, like Tanzania. So maybe me and you will get the same idea, but the solution after, I think people can get away from this party label. And I don't tell people many times, when I one of the young one away start APC in a bowl. So when I be a teenager, when I did school, may not be there political operative, may not be pooling agent, private pooling agent for APC. So politics has always been something I was interested in. But when Shaka Stephen kind of power, it began manipulating the system. We move from prime ministership to presidential thing because it want absolute power. That begin for erode my confidence on political parties. So what Shaka Stephen put in place, just like what you just say so. Every authoritative thing, the one party, the this and that we put in place, Alba Magai began and they ready. Now that's what everyone do. So then two parties and they read from the same book. Trust me, future not there for Sierra Leone unless the leadership and the way we see it, but then party change drastically with a new generation. And we just can't change them generationally. We therefore know what young people stand for. When I listened to NGC leader the other day, it strikes me as an alternative. But I will get for make the people understand, say it's not a hopeless situation, because now when you talk to everybody, NGC not win the last time, so therefore we're going to go back to APC. Lives are not going to get any better. Things are not going to get better. Now, when I will take some calls, I will come back to the basis for me saying that because the evidence is plentiful. But let me stop right here. Hello, caller. What's your name and where you call from?
Yeah, hello, Mr. Salone. Good evening.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Yeah, this now Ahmed, the call from UK.
Okay, Ahmed.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much for your analysis and follow the program and we understand based on exactly what you try to say. It makes sense somehow. The looking of things, but when we go back to Sierra Leone politics, yeah, we agree. Sometimes we say APC don't fail me or SAPP as well don't fail me, but these are the same leaders who they rotate. Now big political parties there. If you look at the other parties then, like when you talk of Yom Kela in party, he break away. These are people all who break away from this major parties, away from the old parties then. Now Yom Kela break away from SLPP. From the southeast to side, come outside the party, CSF base, get no vote today except Cambia. So you see the trend of the politics in Salone. That regional business, maybe the northwest better somehow because then they vote for every party. But the southeast, this is where the problem lies. I agree with you now, a good speaker, he talk well as we listen to them. But for me, I don't admire them short people in there. Because these are the guys who don't hold better position before. But when they need them position, the way they work for their United Nations, who have another organization, which they don't do now the country, which they develop per se before you come jump into say, I want for come aspire. Which people the way don't help. I mean youths the way don't develop. These are the wrong we do when we vote in Madabio. In the military, Madabio as a military, what he achieve, when he left the way come, even the 3 months rule, now money back it take commodity. Some of we know because people in the military, or some of we get people up to today they serve the military. We know this guy very well. But now big mistake we do, you not get that political, idea for rule the country. For me, the way I look at Marabi, the trend of leadership will come out. Because Mr. Shilo, you talk of the young one, look at the cabinet you bring come. These are technocrats. Very well-educated guys, young guys for that matter. But they get the motive, they plan. Now, where they be in London, and they plan. So they just make a cabal. Because, they don't make any progress towards leadership. For me, they change the life of the people. Let's start with be better. Now the people are putting out. The new come. No changes. If you look at the suffering today, we can understand globally there are problems. What is this man preaching in manifesto? What is happening right now? As I tell you, me, I get new young one when they take lectures, even IFBC, map. They will call me Lamis assistant 2 weeks ago. Physics, it's map change the lectures done. IFBC, imagine, and I've just paid over 6 million for your admission. So you don't even get place for sit down. And these are people they propagate about education. So these are the things. Some of you don't do that continue. I don't become teacher. We work in the we go competent. We don't dig in the system up to today. Then they struggle. These are the
Hello. Okay, it looked like the caller, Mr. Ahmed, in time run out. If you want for continue your point, you can call back. You may not be able to get on board right away because there are other callers. But your point is well taken. Make us see, there were other callers. Make us see if I can take 1 or 2 more calls. Then I'll go address some of the point that you make. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where side you call from? Hello, caller.
Yeah, hello, Mr. Salone. Everybody, thank you for the show. I call from Alaska. My name Alpha Sise.
Okay, Mr. Sise, thanks for calling. I hope it's I hope it's not too cold. I hope it's not too cold in Alaska.
It's still cold, bro. It's still cold now. Yes, sir.
Well,
yeah. So the caller will be called. Yeah, the caller will be. Yeah.
Go ahead.
The caller will be called about the 4 months or the 3 month period if the president in term expired, and hopefully you read the article after this show. So what's it for me understanding, and for example, if they want to push the date to any other date, unless like a kind of natural disaster or something like that happened within that time where the president in term finish, then he will push the dates to another date. But besides that, you cannot push the dates. Like, for example, you don't left like 1 year for the election, and then you push on 1 year ahead. We don't even know it. We take it for half a match. So according to me, you understand why I read the article. So that no more me one contribute, sir.
Thank you, sir. I'll go address that. Make I take 1 or 2 more calls. Then I'll go address that. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, Mr. Shilon. Good evening.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
So, how do you do, sir?
Fine, sir.
May God bless you. The being can program here.
What's your name,
sir? Sensitize myself now. This, concerning the country. The constitution. Yeah, me a concerned citizen.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Concerned citizen. Yes, sir.
So the problem is. Now, Africa, we get this problem, this constitution issue, because you know why? All the leaders that they can Africa, 98% of them power conscious. No one left power. So then you will go make it just like when you build house. You go build house, don't put this foundation. What you want can they for let you maintain the house, you continue the house. But if you can say, I want to do this, everything is spoiled. Now, like African politics. Like an example, like a Sierra Leone. If the leader, they love this country, they really don't think about their self-interest. They don't think about the constitution. They love for the work towards the people and for help the country, for develop the country, not for conscious of power business. Like example, where all the callers the way they say for these 3 months. These 3 months where they give, It's not. This is not just a suggestion. That's for let prepare for the next leader or the next candidate we will choose, if in the current one or the next one. You know. So I would say then for them hold on to the constitution, or also for amend them, they work towards that. But anyway, we come they sit down because of say the constitution, they work towards them. And none of the if you look, there one way they talk to them parliamentarians, then where they now maybe this is so example where APC right and in the opposition now they make comments over the constitution. But the judiciary, they can never interpret the constitution properly for everybody understand, because they all favor the government of the day. So they just work towards what the president's government wants. Now they do. So they interpret the constitution what they suit themselves, not for the country now for themselves. Now make Africa the backward. But in the Western world, you can never do that. You can never interpret the constitution in a different way when everything is written down. And if you look, all the paragraphs, they all get the roles they will play. And the constitution and the laws them will govern the country. But all the leaders then, when they come, everybody they flatten on the constitution. Everybody interpret the constitution for let suit them. This is not the problem. They happen in Africa. And I make Africa always they can even then change the party today. Like come back again for the party. No matter which party we can, the same people if we not change the mindset of really Sierra Leone and them. For let we say we want development. Some people then they'll go for this say no, this is not fit for the demonstrate against us. Say no, you're not fit for the for all power in this country. But we native man they support. When man go to 1 million, they can get 10,000, you gladly for them. I don't get. Thank you very much, Mr. Shin.
Thank you, sir, for calling. Concerned citizen, it's always a pleasure for getting feedback from the public, because we all will really small ideas might contribute to a whole lot. Now, what we all begin for know how we feel about the country and exchange ideas without really attacking each other, knowing that we all proceed. It's like religion. Everybody want to go heaven. So you can't beat me over the head, say I therefore belong to your own religious denomination. And it's almost like if you, in America, you say you want to go Atlanta, somebody decides saying to take Highway 95, another person decides say you want to take Highway 85. We'll all go reach, even with different route, because to our intention are for the same destination. So when so we see politics, we all may not see the future of Sierra Leone in the hands of a particular party. We may not agree, but let we just agree that a lot of us mean well, and some of we don't understand the dynamics as yet. We see them in a narrow lens, tribal, sectional, and at some point we will become more enlightened, say for the good of the country. You get to rise above that narrow way of saying Sierra Leone, as I don't address the situation before. But let me just move and take one or two more calls. Then I go address some of the issue. But thank you very much for calling, sir. Hello, caller. What's your name and who's side to call from? Hello, caller.
Hello, my name is Michael. I call from. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. What's your name? Who's side to call from?
And my name is Michael. I come from. Yes, sir.
Okay, Michael. Thanks for calling.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You're welcome. Yes, sir. Salone. I'm very interested about this issue, the discussion. It's about the leader, they're not honest, they're not sincere, and most time they abuse them constitution. Most of all, when they come, I make. And they one that will be said to my, would they in the favor of them or would defend them. And then they put some position and they, so that they will manipulate and then do all the dubious things there. You see, it's 10 tricks how they can play. So now wait about it, plan for let them retain that power, let them power. You see, democracy. Now we believe that, and we now we go for make sure say this democracy will pull them. We really serious about them because people at times they play with the intelligence in too much. And make most small crises happen in the state of emergency, short to short, blah blah blah. So that they will find way out and will shift them, push the election. Things are the happen. So the judiciary, they talk. The legislation that it was. I mean, they machinate the parliament. They put they don't speak out there one day. When I have a good, it didn't favor the government all the time. Oh man, this is crazy. This thing I need for stop. They need for respect the law. When they left for abuse the law, the constitution. It's not good. It's all an abuse of power. They tell the people of government so much. When they come, they do what they promise. See, all kind of promises there. And the manifesto, what they be accuse other people involved. When they come, then they do the worst. It's so dishonest and disingenuous. This facade, this perception, deceptive of government of lies, and politics of lies. Let them left them. They again, this modern days. This new 21st century, the whole of democracy, they like today. And this we can tell them. You see? And they want all the children to talk about the past. But the past is not there no more. They're not there no more. That's why the people vote them out. They promise us it's a new direction. This is gonna be like it's not gonna be the same old thing. So it's unfortunate, Mr. Salone. I swear, until happy. So this so-called pauper thing, it's crazy. Let them do things the way right, and that way, I will 10 minutes for election. It will be simple and easy. People will vote for them back. You see, not only for the election. Then they add more tension and more commotion and. People they feel so suspicious. See the one place on just not keep they want to keep people there. Thank you, sir. The time is up.
Thank you. Thank you very much for calling. Well, let me just touch on a few things because we'll get one or two more topics we'll want to touch on before the end of the show. So he had for just answer everybody we call because sometimes we want for just listen and make other callers then hear other callers then your views. They never always be we own views. But for touch on some of the things, what I sense is frustration on the part of a lot of the callers there, and a lot on the part of some of we, in terms of this good leadership. Make me make one thing clear. Nothing way they happen by accident. You forget your character for be someone we get feelings, we want to make a difference for the better in the lives of you people. That kind of a leadership they not come often. What you go see among all political parties them, and we even see plenty of that even at the United States. There is a certain, we therefore understand, say, in life, we all get a different calling. Some people, they want to be policeman. Some people, they want to be taxi driver. Because if you explain to them, some people they want to be army man. Because they have some people, they want to be fireman. There's a certain attraction to that particular occupation there. Some of them, if you ask them now which is their motivation, they all get different reason why they want to do that same work the way other people and they aspire to. In politics, politicians then worldwide, but particularly in Africa and particularly we own country, 99% of the politicians them are attracted to getting wealth or rich quick. Now money making now the attraction. You go hardly see them they point out the suffering of or the sufferings of people. You go hardly see them care about uplifting and the lives of a community. Let people not forget, say a lot of the things they all can see as improvement, now the Europeans them, and the World Bank, and the UN, and then they tell we say, "Una must do this." Not to we politicians and successful. They are not interested in how people in the suffer. I use one example, a million field now in the law. They lock a lot of people in a Pademba Road, all the prisons, all over the country. Magistrates and judges foolishly just to throw people in a jail. You chief telephone, then detain you. Then throw you there, they forget about you. You chief a radio, then detain you. You get accident with motor car, so Monday they wait 12, 15, 18 months, do a trial. They don't forget much on the system. This is not a legal profession. They don't even get the capacity for realizing that people and they deal with. And this is my argument. If in a northern province you did, when they throw you in jail under that kind of a circumstance there, you are most likely a northerner, most likely Timini, most likely Kuranko. If you're then at the east and the south, most likely Minde. Okay? So this go above party interests. Now it make for begin to understand how we leaders are not the benefit we. So when you get young people, them you lock them up because of some minor criminal offenses, and then you ruin their future. Then they 12 months, 13 months, they don't want to go to court, and then a magistrate or a judge no get the understanding that for throw people in a jail is not the solution to solving crimes, that then for understand that people commit crimes for a variety of reasons. Some criminals then deserve mercy, and on and on and on. But we not to deal with the whole thing. Then all of a sudden, all the thousands of people that are in a jail, we not see anything wrong with that until the European Union give we money for examine who jails them and see people that what they will not belong there. My question is, you feel say that the European Union for tell we what injustice look like? We not get we own sense? No, we do. We people are well educated. They just don't care. It's all about themselves. Now, when the European Union can give you money, then pay we on top of that for pull people away in a jail with the suffer day. Then have to pay we for pull them in a jail. Now, what happen when the people didn't come in a jail? Then they go straight in the street. Some of them not get house. Some of them not get job. Some of them not get family contacts because some of them, if na Pademba Road, you in the pool, just na upline you come out, you just kind of free time for can hustle. Then you find yourself in a Pademba Road. So when they pull you out, what are you going to do? You still not get any future. You not get job. You not get no rehabilitation. The time when they put you in a Pademba Road, they not teach you any trade. They not teach you anything. So you're not getting anywhere to go. You see, this is not the problem. That's why you get government. So if you release a prisoner, make sure, say, you guard against what we call recidivism, meaning repeat offender or offending. So when that person, they want to pull them, they go out more prepared to do better for himself. But when you pay the judge per diem, so that judge, the motivation and the extra money they make for release that Monday, But now the system itself not permit for that mandate for be able for come out and then give them some security, social security of some sort. All that they do when they set them up, because they come out, and not get place for sleep, and not get place for go, they get poor health, and not go staff till he die. He must do something for survive. Most likely committing crime, either petty theft or serious crime. So we were then a power, we were educate, we were the entrust with the responsibility for run society. Now then things there for the look at and try for help society. But almost everything we made to see of late, almost everything with medical system, with justice system, with transportation system, is the Europeans and the Americans who are giving us then the finance way for improve with medical system and the finance way for improve with transportation system, then for improve with justice system. Trust me. So you wonder if the Europeans and the international organization they don't exist. Are we saying we can't do anything for ourselves? There are Africans, like somebody mentioned Magufuli, the late president of Tanzania. He raised in country in one time in office the standard of living to such a level without borrowing a penny, without taking grants, and he do so much for the country that when he run for re-election, he almost get 90%, because even people that want to share the same tribe with, share the same political party, then see the result of the progress that then say, if we pull this man, we must not lose our mind. And there are some of we get on suspicion why man like that did not last. Because that's the way it is. Always the good leader, something will happen to him, as they say, a good to people. But we look on our region. Jerry Rawlings. Anybody were old enough, if you did not get sense, and within the past 30 years, you will realize how down Ghana be go all the way down to nothing. Salone be do far more than Ghana until Jerry Rawlings came. And what make Ghana be go so down? Corruption, massive corruption, massive. The leaders then lost their sense of direction, then lost their feelings for their fellow human being. But when Jerry Rawlings came, he changed things unselfishly. Jerry Rawlings now one of the West African leaders then, where he's on record, I can play that video, not now, but for another time, that he said when he was in power, the thought of him having a bank account anywhere in the world except Ghana, no ever, he said not cross his mind. And bear in mind, he was president for a long time, because for build infrastructure, you can't build infrastructure what will last in 5 years. He was president for at least 15 or more years. But when he left office depending on just what in government could give him. So much so that the man said that when he left office, he realized how poor he was. Those kind of leaders not to come that often. Now God to provide their own leaders, and when they come, now we for be smart enough for no say, we have the right man. I'm telling you. So APC, SLPP, the American man can say they can talk the talk, but they will never walk the walk, because whoever will be the right leader is not in the position now that then two-party they for do the right thing. But sooner or later, the right person will come. But we get for keep hope, and we get for try hard for make things work. But I not share this view, and I keep telling people, we cannot make them two-party things say, now then get Salone. If not to we, now the other. And look how they do. They just circle themselves. When the grass green at the other side, then come out by this party, then go to the other party. When they come, how long is that going to go? How long is that going to take? So we now for use we intelligent for teach the two-party them a lesson and say, you know what, enough is enough. Let we try other people them. You even at the minority opposition party, then you get some Somebody say, well, Dr. Yomkela, then one and they then say, we don't work for the other party. But sometimes that's how things work. When I did together, when I get philosophical disagreements, it happened with Pashaki and Dr. Fonadem. When I see Pashaki was up to no good, then go from the young party. But when I were too young, when I not go know what happened. Shaka Stephen was merciless. All the people in way up and bring her in power. I mean, everybody who ever helped that man, from Brigadier John Bangura to, you name it, everyone, he turned against them. So this is the record. We'll therefore go back and revisit with political parties then, and let us see how terrible they've been to their own political opponent. Albert Magai, he and Shaka Stephen at one point, they were together. Then Albert Magai left PNP, he go join SAPP, Sir Milton. So politicians, they always a left party on issues we don't disagree on. So to me, not to the test now what you preach, now what you articulate, now what you make you left the other party. When Shaka Stephen be there in opposition, even when one get independence, you oppose them, you say because the white people are like, they hold the rope where you person get the cow, but you say you don't give the cow, but I ain't get the rope for direct the cow. Some of we will be get sense enough for say, well, they get a point, even though we'll be young. But everything he ever stood against when it kind of power, to the point of independence, I want to remind one of the young people that we independence, we'll get independence, will first constitution be created for a governor generalship and a prime minister. Shaka Stephen in first coming to power, Milton Magai was the prime minister, Albert Magai was the prime minister, Shaka Stephen was the prime minister. But as prime minister, he not get the absolute power where he need. So he manipulate the system, get rid of the office of Governor General, so he can become president. So not get anybody. And all of that would have been good if this man had done something good for the country. But he amassed all that power there only for engage in massive in what I would call merciless corruption. To the point I would say insanity. So when you grab all that power there, just because you want to be corrupt, you're a bad person. Then you take Paul Kagame and Rwanda. He's been president for a while. He's to some extent a dictator, but look at the massive improvements we don't bring to a country. I think any country or any citizen can live with a leader like that. Compare him to Museveni na Uganda, who overthrew Idi Amin. He too is engaged in massive corruption and refused to leave power. The long and short of it, if you love your country, put aside the political label. Look at the ideology of them leaders here, and them politicians here. Don't trust the vast majority of them because they are opportunists. They don't ever mean what you didn't say. Okay? And forget about this tribal thing, regional thing. As long as people are hooked on that, well, we all go pay the price. Because I have given an example, Sierra Leone, I don't care what tribe is in power. You get President Bio in power, tell me Minde man because it's Minde, tell me the life, the economic life or standard of a Minde person is any higher than any other tribe. No. Go to the interest land. Now we see them in a tribal sense. When Anes Kurma be in power, was the Timinimani or whatever tribe Anes belonged to, was their life standard of living any higher than the rest of the country? No. Because we now get politicians, they want to look at the country as a whole for benefit everybody. Englishman say a rising tide lifts all boats. But we want when the tide they come now, we on boat no more for the WAF. Everybody for soon, now we on boat no more the tide for race. This is the problem. So leadership not by tribalism. Leadership now your heart. Now you love for your fellow man. Now leadership now vision for the better, and then a good leadership. But all this talk, a lot of we get difficulty for really come out of that feeling of tribal thing, of regional thing. Even when we see the wrong, we always say not the benefit we. And until we try to come out of that, this is where I'm glad I don't have any political preference. I just want the best person for Sierra Leone. What the tribe you come from is irrelevant. It don't make any difference to me. I don't know if any other tribe, don't we all have 2 eyes, 2 hands, 2 feet? Any tribe, God gave any tribe any more hands and feet and eyes and ears. So I don't know why people are attached. To me, it's so superficial, it's so nonsensical for, say, somebody get for come up from your tribe. And we don't see other tribes then, where they in power, we don't see President Momo, Limba people and tribe, they're any better. The standard of living was any better way Momo be in power. Pashaki who claim to be a Limba. He improved Limba people in life. So we are fooling ourselves. And we don't allow politicians and for the fool with as much. So, like I said, this is an issue that can never end if one wants to talk about that, because we get we own politics. But quickly, before we wrap up, there are other concerns in Sierra Leone. One of them, a matter of public health. And then we also get public safety, transportation-wise. We want combine. So I will ask the control room for play 2 video for we very short. One get for do public health, then the other one get for do with public safety.
Yeah, my family as soon as they see na roti egg na any can't wait soon a bomb. Don't go to people and get I say all man they take they go na house to go boil. So let people and be aware for the buy boiled egg. This na roti egg they come for can't wait soon a bomb. People and they get they go na the house them for go boil for pull on the street for sell. As soon as they see na roti egg so you see when they see roti egg, you see the crate, a roti egg, so roti egg, and they can't expire egg. The Salone, they can't see, all man they to see. You see, this now very important.
Mina Aissatou Smile Sise, and this is the program Talk to the Camera. Today the camera is na the Kisi dumping site where people can normally call Bome. For can know about what in the go on at this Bome, especially where some youths them they ride the tricycle where they can go get that dirty in the community and carry it down at this Bome. For know what in they go on with the youths there, so why then decide for do this job, and also this tricycle if in the young or then get them from the Freetown City Council. Hello, welcome to this interview. Your name?
George Olu Williams.
Okay. So, how many years you don't take for ride this tricycle?
Too long.
I want to let you tell viewers why you decide for ride the tricycle.
I decide for ride because the life I be live is very risky for me. So now make a change in my life. I can't pardon you because the life I be live na bad life. For more I get people where they advise me. My life don't change. So now make a decide for do the dirty work.
So you get a family now?
Yeah. I get a woman.
Okay. So also you can go get them dirty there so far?
Outside, from door to door.
Okay. So the people and they pay?
Yeah.
So how you don't do with this tricycle for sustain your life?
Criteria beaucoup. The challenges is beaucoup na street. Yeah, some people they cause we, some people they tell you say we na Christmas, but we not listing them. Now they find you living. So now they don't too long go they party work here.
Okay. So away months done and they pay you by month?
For now, them be they pay we, but for now we not they get for let them pay we because they don't only for 5 months. They not pay we. So we don't left the work.
So What's the message where they send out there to the Ministry of Youth and other youth organization concerning the life where you they live so right now?
We dey talk to the minister and the minister of youth. We the youth and they suffer. We need job, that we need good shelter. Most of you na can watch na the dump sites, we dey suffer. Most of you they work so. Now we clean the city. Most of you they are so till accident and not pay we. Now we dey work na the country. Even we don't suffer. We dey pray to the minister, let help we. Let help we the young one them for work.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, welcome to this interview. Your name?
Yeah, my name is Mohamed Bangua.
So this tricycle way you they ride so right now I go want for know if in a company you they work for on a private.
Not to company, na private on we own.
How many years now you don't take for ride this tricycle?
Well, ma say na 5 years so now.
So how else dump sites and the way you can go left and dot there?
I can go Kintom dump site, then Kisi dump site one a year.
I go want for you tell viewers if you get a family.
Yeah, I get family. I get 3 picking with married one wife.
So why you decide for ride this tricycle and get a dotty?
Well, governor in the country, now they all decided to say for manage yourself or say until God give you other side open here.
How this tricycle don't they help you in a life for sustain you and the family?
Well, the tricycle help me a lot. It help me for pay me beginning school fee, lunch, even for get chop money in a house. Most of my affairs there, it help me a lot. So I did beg for City Council will give me another one where I go to replace this. If you wouldn't be car with tricycle, I be apply for let them give me new one. But they look at me say because I not get council or we recognize me as we all in one community. So they will give me the tricycle. So myself, I hold on to me, you know what I get. Now I manage small.
So how much they take for one bag, the dirty?
3,000 now they take for one bag.
So someone can cancel away the dirty now, so one can pay?
Well, yeah, now register to City Council, then give me license. What I mean, yes, license. By year we renew, all the year around, we expire, we go renew and back. But we need to pay. Yeah.
So waiting at the message where they send out there to the Ministry of Youth and other youth organizations them.
Well, the message I sent to the Ministry of Health, the need for develop this .UK. In fact, because we need equipment, rain boots, other gears. If the equipment will do, they're not enough. Yes, so we need all that things. And they need for cow more to carry. Even for bulldozer for the pushy bomber for we can see the car. You know, we strain a lot. At times, the car turn at the gates now. Pass to car, park the bike now. 2 times by 8, begin put her inside. Then constrain all will go on there. So now they will need government for buy bulldozer for the push now. If not to down the dirty go for the common streets. Then the machine and then they last. So until any car we can close this the born. One get close this cost 40,000 for one. So if you come until close can born 210 per one day, you don't lose for that day, then we get nothing. So the pay Papa government make them provide anything and they all for we.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now, for the audience, this is another concern of ours. They will take the rotten egg situation. We see, this is the thing about poverty. And it hard for condemn the people them. They go pick them rotten egg then they. Because there is one basic thing we understand. People have to survive. They have to survive. If government not provide the opportunity for them to survive, every disaster to them is an opportunity. So I'm hoping that sometimes we officials then will see, because you cannot get a Ministry of Health. First of all, then forget a procedure whereby things like eggs then were not good. Should just not be taken to the dumps and just throw away for people them for can begin pick, go back and sell. The interesting thing about their eggs then most of the people that always sit at the dumping place, they pick them. They don't normally eat eggs, fry one or boil one. So it's obvious their eggs then they go end up in a treat for sale. And if them eat and they then contaminated, it will create illness for people. But all this cannot stop unless government is responsible enough to make the right regulations then. So if a company gets eggs then we want to dispose of, knowing full well the economic situation of people in back home, you now go just go dump the egg then they. What's in an egg? I mean, a company will get that many eggs for disposal of, they can crush the eggs them. So that way the people are not going to forget anything. Then they can just crush the egg, then they all go broke. But they're not doing. Then just go even at the sites, allowing people and for take them for spread and disease and illness. And unfortunately, we get a country where if you poor, I mean, when you're sick, you are in trouble. So when we sit down there, we need because once upon a time, not too long ago, there was another incident involving chicken. Chicken and wood up well, then go dump them at the place. They could have them for dig hole for dump all them chicken in there. That way nobody no go try for mess with them. If them figure say suspiciously people then go on for no waiting there, the government will be smart enough not for allow that for happen. So we are not really looking after the people. This is not got nothing to do with political party. And this is the thing I'm telling people. The poverty cut across the board. Okay? So when are these ministers going to look out for the ordinary citizen? When is a government going official, health minister of health, as well as permanent secretary and the top officials then? When are they going to come with policies who could protect the ordinary people against themselves? Because when the person go take rotten egg, rotten chicken, and not get in economic situation, not allow for do any better. So now government got for step in, for stop that person against incest. So we need so these are all the things we do. And when this poverty they show, it not come by tribe. When sickness come, it not come by tribe. And so I keep advising people, do away with all this tribal stuff. The politicians are fooling you. But if you don't mind for suffer, but you think say suffering is better under your tribesman, well, are your choice. But me think say you not for take suffering under anybody. Whether not somebody want to come on the same tribe, not the same Belen, if it take you your own benefit for better himself, you for stand your ground. And are we on job for educate people, the public, let them understand this, for say they are being misused, they are being abused, they're not going for take them. When the minister then, when they want for get underhanded thing, they don't care if the money will set aside for a certain tribe. All they care about now for getting big house, get them big bank account, and get nice cars. And then the rest of una to whatever, not to then tell you for land book, not to then tell you for get PhD. These guys don't come there trying to look out for the ordinary man. So this is what I keep emphasizing. So please, in the interest of public health, I will hope the government, and unfortunately, here's a situation where we'll get someone who used to work for the CDC, Center for Disease Control in America. Huge, effective, powerful, wealthy government agency. We can do a lot for we. And I think they will be embarrassed to find out for say, somebody will be to work for them. Now, Minister of Health, now Sierra Leone, and now under in leadership, people in the go na garbage dump for go pick rotten eggs them. Where that not for happen, there should be policies in place. Now under the same person, low-level health workers and they go. Sometimes even COVID workers them. For 6 months, they not get paid. Somebody will be the work in America. We know better. This is the trouble. So that's why I'm saying these people don't have any heart. They just not care. And you can't convince me to say you care, because if you say, oh, I tell the government and refuse, so there's a thing called resignation. Let the public know so you're not part of that. But you know, go day in, people and they suffer. Then you say, oh, I tell and say wrong, but they not listen to me. You know, you did it for be listened to. So if they're not going to listen to you, you not belong in that group there. Step out, step down. Now the only way down there you go command the respect of people like we. But now the only way down there, me think say the political parties and for begin portray the government. You know? So me, you know, for make personally this thing about President Biu and this and that, we'll just get a look at the politics overall. So I'm not supporting any particular party. But we use intelligence and look at situation and say, well, we get the worst of all situations. So which one are the least harmful? That's all I'm suggesting. So APC no good, SFPP no good. We do not get no history yet of NGC, but when I do get history among the other party, then some people are within a small party, then they be there in the APC and SFPP. We don't know the situation. So now we get for useful exercise, but if you say the solution for run back to say you run come out, well, when they meet you back, they not complain. Because when I cannot allow when I say for be played like tennis ball. When I hit you and then hit you back across. No. At some point, even the ball self can go off. Cause you know, even go na the other court. So at times, get this comfort level of them party here. For say, hey, we not say not to we, not the other one. No. Make them no say when I smart past that. That's all I'm saying. Then they we get for educate you people them. Or for be willing for take the suffering, which will surely come. You know. So for be willing. And we the opportunity I can have 5 years for use we own common sense. But for no use them, well, God help we for be willing for take the consequence. Very quickly, there was another display of a vehicle that would talk about public safety. I just want to spend one minute on that. Because we see a picture, just now. There are the wheels with flat tires, them all of a tractor trailer that was carrying a container on the streets of Freetown. Now the trailer in tires, then you see so. You will see say then tires and they not only then done, but even initially when they put them on, now then retread tires. I don't know why government and we get transportation minister, where I understand say used for then America and an engineer. Way for stand firm against seeing things like that wire. It will be a very serious crime because you did this. It borders on public endangerment. When you get somebody, they carry a container on a truck with this kind of tire. That's a disaster waiting to happen. It should not be allowed. Now, when you talk about active time or for lock somebody up, na Palemba Road, as much as I'm against traffic, somebody going to jail for traffic violation, this kind of behavior is so, we'll call it egregious, but so serious. Any driver will decide for run motor car on the street with container on tires like this, then provoke and
so this is it. I got home, I come back for can check. I think the army man then be understand after and stop the container. Because to be honest, now the army man they can't fend for make them flabber say, how can you see this thing when I not stop her? When I look the tire self we go, it don't smooth, it's smooth. This not just the owner of the container, even the authority they're wrong. Tire like this not for them a road, my people. This kind of tire not for them a road. Even for the driver for your own life. Ebo! You left your wife pain. You left your picking and pain for waiting. When you see tire not good, stop them. Say I know they drive this thing, my life value. But Salone, Salone. Morning all. Today. The 9th. Today, the 9th of March. Just finished my walk from Congo Cross, round Aberdeen Road, Grammar School, Kandong Grammar School, Kandong Mornington Road. Immediately after I passed the barracks, I noticed this container. They approached me, a link. So small picking, well, plenty people in the worker on that side, outside the container, they come. Now telling two picky with near me, I saw a lot of cross go back. So I said that container, they a link. So they came and listened to me then cross. Only for the container for approach me properly. Something just said I watch the container. Entire done. Now they open out the hole. The driver then a phone. I'm like, oh my God. After the container, one motorcar, the other motorcar, na two army man them did it. Now stop the army man them. I say that container yanda no get tire. I say una for stop him. The army man then tell me say the container don't pass traffic warden them police then Mornington Junction. They not stop him. They not go stop him. I say so una self not go stop him. Salone, we sorry. Say we sorry. This is sicking me. It's sicking me to my stomach. At 7:40 in the morning, 7:50, school picking and then I would plenty. Container we not get tired. We authority then see the container. They make it pass. If not then keke driver, then they stop them for 10,000. If not bike, then they stop them for shekini. As that on the road, the authority they not care. If the container for don't I kill people there, government will go give them one bag rest and 10,000. Finish! Then story done. Salone is sad. Salone sad. This morning, I been sitting at Salone, but today, I sick na me belly. Me people there.
All right. I'm glad we read this woman in comment. We'll see the truck. And again, for with country Australians, then if that container they for them, the container not care whose tribe you belong. The container not care whose party you they support. If you're unfortunate for them in the wrong place, they go kill you. This is what I keep telling people. So let me ask the question. If you support SLPP, is it okay for allow container like this for run at the street, on the trailer, just because you support the party in power? Where you don't know if you or your loved one could be the victim? If you support APC, does it matter if there be APC government? Now then kind of a reckless here, then uncaring situations there. And then here with the talk about. Say political party not that important as much as the responsibility, the level of responsibility of government. So I am saying to Una again once more, please, let's rise above this party label, tribal label. It's not serving us. We can see by now we go backward, we not go forward because we don't want to deal with reality. You know? What would they talk about corruption? Not only the big one, they would just corrupt. Look, the driver can't change there, you know, say get bad tire. But at the mentality there, look, the police them, low-level police officers them. So then they give them something, they allow and let it go through. You know? So even when a woman talk about keke driver, then we for make it a policy. If keke driver is not in violation of the law, harassment by the police not for be part of the operation of the police. It's not easy, but again, not to ask them for going to government. So the one that work on a government, these are the things they will get for face. But in not fair, what people then they pan the engagement of the daily bread, the right keke, police and they stop them for no violation. It's just not right. All of that need to mess the system up. So there is a whole lot going on, but we just want to touch on certain things. So let me thank everybody with a call on the various issues then, and thank everybody who listen, and thank everybody who will continue for listen and make their own contribution. I hope when I get a nice weekend, whatever remains of it. Good night.